Valerie Gillis is a 42-year-old nurse haunted by the trauma of the COVID-19 pandemic. Emotionally depleted, she no longer feels connected to her husband, Gregory, or to her former sense of self. In search of healing, or at least silence, she sets off alone to hike part of the Appalachian Trail, hoping the vast, untamed wilderness might offer clarity or even redemption. What begins as a personal escape soon turns into a disappearance. Somewhere deep in the forests of Maine, Valerie vanishes without a trace. When she fails to check in, her husband reports her missing, and a massive search and rescue mission is launched. The investigation is led by Lieutenant Beverly Miller of the Maine Warden Service. She is one of the few women in the role and carries her own emotional baggage, particularly the slow decline of her mother in hospice care. Bev is methodical and composed, yet the pressure mounts as each hour passes. Statistically, the chances of finding a lost hiker alive plummet after the first 24 hours. She has to coordinate an enormous effort in unforgiving terrain, manage media scrutiny, and remain emotionally neutral while navigating the old school, male-dominated world around her. As Bev digs into Valerie's background, she starts to understand this isn't just a case of a woman who got lost. Valerie was emotionally lost long before she entered the woods. In the meantime, Valerie is still alive. She leaves behind a journal addressed to her deceased mother, chronicling her descent into physical and emotional survival. She reflects on her life, her grief, and the unexpected realization that she no longer loves Gregory. Her journal entries reveal the harsh realities of solo hiking, fighting hunger, cold and fatigue, but also a kind of spiritual stripping away. Valerie meets another hiker briefly, Ruben Serrano, trail name Santo, who offers her a moment of comfort and connection. But when he leaves, she's once again alone, surrounded by the silence and shadows of the forest. Elsewhere in the story, we meet Lena Kacharski, 76-year-old woman in Connecticut, confined to a wheelchair and living in emotional isolation. She becomes obsessed with Valerie's disappearance through online forums and starts her own amateur investigation. Partnering virtually with a mysterious Reddit user known as Terrible Asslance, Lena finds a kind of purpose and companionship in the process, even as her methods and conclusions grow increasingly erratic. She's searching not just for Valerie but also for herself, for a way to feel relevant and seen. The story moves fluidly between these three women, Bev and Lena, each grappling with loss, memory, and identity in their own way. The novel uses journal entries, voice memos, interviews, and search transcripts to tell the story in a fragmented but emotionally cohesive way. The trail itself becomes a metaphor, winding, wild, and indifferent to human suffering, yet also capable of profound beauty and transformation. As the days pass, Valerie's chances for survival grow slimmer. She survives on foraged food and snowmelt, but the cold gnaws at her. In one of her final journal entries, she writes to her mother, "I press my hand to your chest so I can feel the center of your Heartwood." It's a moment of intimate clarity, an acknowledgement that love and pain are intertwined. Even as her body begins to fail, her spirit stays tethered to memory, to family, to the aching beauty of the life she's lived. Lieutenant Bev pushes deeper into the wilderness, both physically and emotionally. As she leads the search, she also begins to accept the inevitability of her own mother's death and the complicated grief that will follow. In her drive to find Valerie, she is also searching for the strength to let go of her mother with love and dignity. Lena, too, is changed. Her digital obsession becomes a mirror. The case forces her to confront her own isolation, her need for control, and her regrets. The reader watches as her determination turns into something more fragile and human, a desire not to solve the mystery, but to feel something real before it's too late. By the novel's end, we don't receive a clear answer about Valerie's fate. Instead, we're left with a profound sense of ambiguity and an invitation to sit with the discomfort of not knowing. But what becomes clear is that Heartwood Ice and Tea just about survival in the wilderness. It's about emotional survival, the invisible trails we follow through grief, memory, and love. The title, Heartwood, refers to the dense inner core of a tree, the part that no longer transports water but gives the tree its strength. It's a powerful metaphor for what remains after loss, what holds us upright when everything else has fallen away. For Valerie, Bev, and Lena, The Heartwood is the place inside them that grief cannot hollow out, the emotional center that pain may scar, but never destroy. Amity Gaige's Heartwood is an intimate, atmospheric exploration of women navigating the wilderness of their own lives. Through grief, obsession, duty, and survival, the novel reminds us that sometimes we are most lost when we are closest to the truth. And sometimes, being found means something entirely different than being rescued.